This is the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, with Erolai, Kreese, and Mark, bringing you all your Dffoo news and talk. Welcome to Season 4, the LGBT era. Now let's start the show.
喝采は僕のものだ。
Hey everybody, it's Mark with the Crystal Chronicles. We welcome you to another episode. We're recording a little early this week because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I don't know about you, but after a long day or a long week, I just want to sit down, talk Dffoo with my friends, and have a warm cup of cup noodles. Nothing hits the spot like cup noodles. That's really good. You can enjoy it with your favorite flavors: beef, shrimp, chicken, spicy, or original. You can find cup noodles at any of your favorite grocery stores or fine dining establishments. What's your favorite cup? This week's episode brought to you by Cup Noodles. Welcome to the show, episode 129, recorded on this November 25th.
Hashtag not sponsored.
2020. Brought to you by Cup of Noodles. We're doing a Q&A stream. I hope you've all enjoyed your Gladiolus polls. Please go check out my Should You poll. I'm going to have a special video on Thursday, tomorrow. So if you're listening or watching, we're going to have a special video, Thanksgiving video on our YouTube and on the podcast. And then we're going to have another stream. Mino and Inkwelder did a nice stream here the other night, so I have that recorded, and I'll get that out to you guys all on Friday. So there will be plenty of content from the Crystal Chronicles to keep you busy. But let me welcome my guests today, my co-hosts. First, it's Arrow. Arrow, how you doing?
Doing great. Been cleaning all day in anticipation for tomorrow. I'm very excited.
The answer is all three, the ultimate cup of noodles: shrimp, meat, and egg. And I'm also joined by Kreese. Kreese, what's your favorite cup of noodles flavor?
Meat, obviously. It's the best flavor.
Yeah, that was really good. I have some cup noodles asthma here. I just got it all over my shirt. Eating it with chopsticks. Yeah, that's right. Wooden hand-carved chopsticks. That's how authentic I am. We have 1,000 flavors, Mac. No, my grocery store only had 3 flavors: beef, chicken, and shrimp.
Joshua only gave us 3 options. That's the reason we're choosing.
In Final Fantasy 15, it was 3 options. Gladio said meat, shrimp, which apparently are different, and egg. So we're going to do some Q&A, podcast polls. You can always ask us questions, people in the chat. If there's any questions, highlight it. Sub, give me money or something, so I know I'm joking. But, do that too. So we know. But we did have a question. Our Black 5-day sale that was announced, that just hit live as we're recording. It is a one-time thing that you can do this. I think it's a 99-cent. Let me see if I can just pop it open here. How to get to the actual sale chest here. I think there's one that you can do once a day for 5 days. Yes, and that is a 99-cent. It's 500 gems, 99 cents. You can do that once a day for 5 days. So that would be 2,500 gems for $5. Not a bad deal at all. The other ones here in the United States, it's $10.99 for 2,600 40 power tokens. Those are the things you use for your weapons. And then the $24.99 is a ruin ingot, a weapon ingot. Yeah, a weapon ingot and 6,000 gems. Oh, both, one of each ingots, 40 armor tokens, 40 power tokens, one of each ingot. The 9,000 one, which is $36.99. That is one of each book, one of each ingot, 60 armor tokens, 60 weapon tokens, 30 feathers, and the big one, which is $74.99, is 17,600. 2 of each books, 2 of each ingots, 120 armor, 120 armor tokens. Black Cloud, are you watching? Man, 120 power tokens and 60 chocobo feathers. So that's a lot of stuff. Is it a good deal? It's a lot of stuff. I will probably buy one. I'll probably buy the... I mean, let's be honest. I'll probably buy the most expensive one. But it's pretty good. It's a lot of stuff. I love those armor tokens. I've been sold by Black Cloud's fear mongering to buy my armor tokens. So, if it's a good deal for you, I don't know. I'm not really running low on books. Or I'm not really running low on anything. Certainly not chocobo feathers. I've got like 800 chocobo feathers. I just noticed. Yeah, that's not a problem. So any thoughts on these, Arrow?
Is Mino actually joining us on voice this time?
I don't know, Kreese. He's in the chat, but he's also in our chat, so.
My feelings about the sale though, yeah, it's good. That $1 deal is awesome.
Yeah.
If you have money somehow to spare, these are some of the best sales you're gonna get anytime, usually, unless it's like anniversary. So something to think about.
I did just buy Gladiolus's costume, so and I buy the premium Moogle Pass. Yeah, Mino's in chat telling Squex Joshua that we get too much stuff in game. So everybody's going to want to ban him here in a second. Well, Kreese, let's go to the questions that our audience have been asking.
What was that? Sorry.
I said, let's go talk about the questions that our audience has been asking us in our podcast questions and start on that conversation.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of connectivity issues for the last day or two, so it keeps breaking up on my end. I apologize if anything sounds weird while we're recording today.
All right, no problem.
Infamous Elements, excuse me, asked this a while ago, but I didn't feel it was like proper podcast material. So we are going to answer it tonight. Hey everyone, this is something he's been thinking about just for fun, but as you know, some older EX Plus characters seem to like their EXs are going to be a bit lackluster. Do you think they will add at some point an EX Plus extension or replace with new EX Pluses but be able to equip and use older EXs? Whichever it may be, what would you like to see? Arrow, have you seen this question? What do you think of Infamous Elements recommendation or thoughts?
I mean, an EX skill is a charge skill. So, I mean, some of them are just going to be better than others, I guess, in terms of like what you might think they need. And I know sometimes with like the LDs and everything, you don't even really use EX, but I still don't want to say to give them new buffed effects and things because they kind of keep it in mind, I think, when balancing the character. So like, for example, I think Cloud, the only time you're going to use his EX later in the future is just to get back on that buff he gets from using it. I don't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. But same thing with Vaughn. You don't really use his EX anymore unless you're trying to get back on the special buff from using it. That's fine with me. If they balance around that, it doesn't. I don't think they're going to add another board to EXs. I don't think they're going to rework EXs. That's kind of what the whole point of EX Plus was. And I just see them balancing around that going forward with whatever new weapon tiers may come.
Yeah, they may need to do what they have done with some other characters and kind of update the EX. I don't think you're going to get another realization for the EX. I mean, you're more likely to get, of course, LDs, as you've been told you can sell LDs. We're not going to get LD realizations, but we get LD boards. You might get burst boards. You might get another tier of weapons. And so if that continues to happen, and hopefully the game continues to go on like that, you might get a rework to an EX that's similar to reworks we've gotten for a 35 or skill 1 or skill 2, basically. So basically the extension, those are usually what gets reworked. So kind of the extension or the passive for the EX might get a rework, a tuning pass. But we've not seen that yet. We haven't needed that yet. But there are some older EXs that definitely need some help. when the skill 1 and skill 2, I think like Tifa, for example, her skill 1 and skill 2 are doing more damage than her EX at the moment. I may be wrong on that, but
Tifa?
yeah, the new in Japan. I'm sorry. When Tifa gets her LD, I think she gets a rework, and so her skill 1 and skill 2 are really quite powerful, and her EX is kind of like the least powerful button in her kit at this point. So,
Gotcha.
So yeah, they'll have to address that at some point, or the EX will just be a kind of a useless button to press.
Yeah, I kind of agree. We'll see what they do with EXs. I mean, there's still free ability uses that you get every once in a while, so they always have a place where there are buttons you can use to spend turns without wasting ability uses, and they tend to almost always be better than HP plus. So they have that going for them. I don't think they'll ever not have a place, even on the oldest kits. Like even Fang and Vincent's EX abilities are still better buttons to push than their HP pluses. Even if they got LD reworks that improved their HP pluses.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Infamous Element. Let's see.
Okay.
EX
Katsufumi asks, do you think there is any chance that we will get repeat content the way Japan did because of COVID-19 to be consistent? I don't know, and Square Enix Joshua in chat will not tell us either way. That's a question for the future us to find out. It's possible we might get the repeat content. We might just barrel on ahead and get a little closer to Japan's schedule because of it. Hard to tell now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the world has kind of figured out how to do a lot of this living through social distancing. And so I may, we really may not have a limited timeline, which means we may catch up a little bit to Japan. We don't know for sure, but I would assume they would not extend our schedule because they still have stuff, and it's not going to help them to kind of have repeat events here in global when they already have content. So, as long as the dev team here, the global dev team, is still able to work and still able to kind of transfer things from the Japanese version of the game to our version of the game in a timely manner, which they have continued to do throughout this entire thing, which is amazing, right? I mean, that's great work on their part. I mean, we really haven't had any delays. I wouldn't expect any delays, and I don't think they're going to just add fabricated delays because Japan got them. So we will probably have a little heightened timetable, which means we'll get a consistent outpouring of events like we've had. But they do kind of back off on new characters moving forward. So I assume that will be the same for us, where we kind of get like one new character a month. Arrow, any thoughts on that?
I don't think we're going to have the reruns. I'd be very surprised if so. So I won't rule it out, but I'm going with an unlikely.
I think it's a win-win situation, as you guys have said. Basically, if they decide to have the rerun, that's an extra 2 weeks for newer players to pick up meta characters. The reruns are like Ami and Edward, who are still being used in Lufania up to this point in main party. Very good for people to spend their resources, very tempting for new players to catch up, and also a 2-week plus break to build your resource stash. But even if they don't, eliminating any amount of foresight from GL is a big plus. I don't know how much. I'm completely convinced it's deliberate at this point, right? Sephiroth rework right before Sephiroth drops in GL, not a coincidence. We talked about this with Squall too. This is very deliberately timed. With even more elimination, right now we're at 7.5 months. We're slowly catching up. But if anyone's been paying attention to the GL situation, we've had 7 to 6 day gaps between each event now, where it used to be 5 max. I believe I was telling someone, I forget it exactly right now, but it's been 7 days, 6 days, and then now 7 days to the stream, just in case. Slowly being stretched out, which is fine because JP at this time had 9-day gaps. So we are slowing down and we are catching pace to JP. So it is very, very up to them how they want to deliberate releasing GL stuff. And it's very deliberate, right? Like everyone said, everyone skipped Squall, BT, and LD. It is trash. and then right like a week before it hit, JP got the huge rework, and now people are talking about pulling. Same with Sephiroth. Everyone's saying Sephiroth, huge skip, worst LDBD character in the LDBT era. And then a week or two ago, we got the huge Sephiroth rework, making him viable. And as we know about this community, people don't understand how the passage of time affects things. So they see the rework, and a lot of people are already talking about wanting to pull Sephiroth now. So the timing is completely up to them. Either they cut the foresight of GL and make more decisions. GL first is coming up again, right? Anniversary. Or they just keep it up and keep the deliberate pace and tease us with reworks for characters that are very, very underutilized and people just keep saying they want to skip.
Yeah, Max Has No Thumbs was asking, we are getting more global LD exclusives. It was announced on the last Squex community stream by Joshua and Glacy that we are going to get a 3rd anniversary global first LD. And you will be able to see my take on that tomorrow, as the video that I am releasing is all about that. So, Kreese, any
It will
other thoughts on
replace
that?
a global first exclusive character.
Correct.
To be clear.
Yep. So it will not be it will be a character we already have. They will get a LD in global version of the game before the Japanese version of the game. So I share my picks for that in a video that's going to be released tomorrow. So, Kreese, did you share your thoughts on that question?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Well,
I think it's up in the air. I don't have a good answer.
let's go to the next
this
one. Good
one,
question.
this question is from Star Shadow, and I have sat on it because I don't know what it means, but maybe one of you all can answer it for me. Now that 8s and VV's LDs are out, can hope be enough for small boy murder shenanigans?
Yes. Yes. Arrow, what are your thoughts?
Of course. Why not try it out?
Mino, any thoughts on that one?
No.
Okay.
Great question, Star Shadow. Very good.
I guess maybe. I don't really understand, but okay.
Yeah, commit to it. Good question. Thank you. Thank you, Star Shadow. We always appreciate
Hope Starter asks, this is from a few weeks ago, I guess. In light of Hope Starter discovering and getting overwhelmed by a zillion things to do in Record Keeper, what other mobile games do the hosts play in their off time from Opera Omnia? I guess I'll go first. I do not play any other mobile gacha games. If I play other mobile games in my downtime, I play simple games like Picross games or just mobile variants of like Sudoku. If I'm playing other games, I'm usually playing either console or PC games in my downtime.
Arrow, what are you up to when you're not defoing?
I do play Record Keeper casually. I make my way. I don't feel any impending rush to do content in that game like ever. And then I play Eternal Senia, which I think we talked about on a post show a couple weeks back. I play that very casually. Outside that, I have a huge backlog of Steam games I am still working through. Right now, my game is Fell Seal, which Macnall reminded me to get actually when it was last on sale. So thank you to Macnall for that great reminder. It is a pretty good game. I could tell you some nitpicks about it another time though. Anyway, that's kind of what I do.
Well, Mino and I are very invested in a great new mobile game called Guitar Girl. So it's a really powerful, story-driven RPG, I guess you would call it. So if you're interested in that, very, emotional, thrilling, edge of your seat kind of gameplay. So definitely check out Guitar Girl. That's a mobile game. So really, really quite good. Yeah. Good question. Mino, did you have anything to add? He's talking in chat, so I don't know if he's in voice.
Too many games. skip me. I have too many games I'm playing. That's why it's very easy to hoard. I know this was asked on the stream yesterday. How do you hoard so many gems? DFFOO is not a priority when it's not an event day. So it's very easy to collect the gems and set it aside for now.
Yeah, Mino likes to play DBZ over and over and over again for hours and stream it.
That's true. You know what? Since Mark's gonna call me out, I play fighting games during work hours because it's very easy. A match is like a minute to 2 minutes, and then when you lose, you can get like 10 minutes of work done. So very nice. Ass Creed Vikings is another big one. Takes like 2-3 minutes to do side quests in a huge open world in a 200-hour game. I'll play that. I have regular nights throughout COVID for board game nights, which long Gloomhaven campaign running. Don't play that. Lots of other board games, just nonstop. Rainbow Six Siege. Tuesdays is Rainbow Six Siege night, and Among Us on Sunday with the It's just too many video games. I don't understand why people complain about lack of content in DFFOO because it is like the last thing on my mind during the week.
Magnol, have you ever seen the Guild web series? I think it's on Netflix now too. The one kid, I forget what his name was, the youngest kid in the group. He was working at the Burger Cheesy Beards and had his laptop on the grill playing. That's pretty much what Mino does.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so he's got his PS4 on the fry hopper.
Okay, Mino, we have a question for you, hot off the presses. Is Mino ever going to come back to full-time hosting?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Okay, are we supposed to tackle this seriously? Okay, let's see.
You don't have to, but
okay,
it was asked to you.
Let's do it. We have plenty of time tonight, right? Okay, so the truth is, I disengaged a little with the game during garbage time for sure. That was a big portion of the reason of why I stopped doing it regularly. I didn't feel the game was worth the energy and effort to analyze anymore because the challenge quests were the most difficult content. And why value units when basically, my general rule at the time was, hey, 2-week synergy is top priority because of the events it covers, then LC characters because they cover 2 events, and then event characters were worthless because they're there for 1 event and to collect all the resources. So, and then everyone was just synergy stomping for 4 months. You check the call to arms, it's just all synergy stomping. And the game was really boring me. And I'm not saying that's the only reason I stepped back from full time, but that was a big reason. Lufania has piqued my interest a little more, although I will say 6-man content that released in JP, we don't talk about JP content a lot, but 6-man content is just screaming synergy bias and synergy stomping, and that makes me a little more disinterested. So we'll see what happens, but bottom line is Arrow is here now, and she's doing a great job, and I think she's having a great time. So as long as she's here, there's no reason for me to come back full time. Being a guest is great too. I've been able to, let go of the leash and be a little more uncensored because I'm not representing the podcast anymore. I can just say whatever I want, and it doesn't reflect too bad on TCC. But things are good right now. I've gotten used to my new position. It's not as busy, and Lufania really is more fun. But if the game leans towards that garbage time and that synergy bias with the 6-man content again and the boss rushes, I don't know. These character evals aren't even worth it, right? Because at the time, whenever we did character evals, it was like, hey, skip, pull synergy, pull for CQ, you're done. There's no reason not to pull outside of CQ. And that was just getting boring. Right now, let's be honest, with Lufania, even though I think Lufania is more fun, 2-week synergy and BT synergy bias is still at an all-time high, for sure. We were just talking about that in the mod chat as well. So the point. Oh my god, that was a long walk. The point is, Arrow's here. She's doing great. She's having fun. As long as that happens and there's no need to replace a co-host, then no, I don't plan on coming back full time. What do you guys think? This is a roundtable discussion here.
We don't make decisions for you. I think that's what we think.
Yeah. This is a Mino-directed question.
Oh, TRZ says Cup Noodles is not available in Hungary. Cup of Noodles, if you're listening, you got to fix that problem. This is really good for a styrofoam cup full of dehydrated food. It's been a while since I've had Cup of Noodles because I'm not supposed to eat this kind of stuff. But it's not bad.
Oh, Ragnamune makes a great point. He's saying now that Lufania is here, Mino can finally say this character sucks again. And that's very true. Because during the 4-month garbage time, it was just basically, I can't say this character sucks because they'll get you through the challenge quest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kamehart's got a great idea for you. I don't know who said the thing about Hungary. TRZ. Yeah, so get a styrofoam cup, put some noodles in it, like ramen, whatever you can get a hold of that's just, hard noodles, and then pour water into it, cover it. There you go. Your own cup noodles. Make your own cup noodles. There you go, people. All right, Kreese, next question. Good job.
Next question is from Final ASIM. Final ASIM asks a non-DFFOO question, and because this is a Q&A session, we are taking it tonight.
Yeah.
Do the hosts and guests believe that the Earth is round or flat?
Yeah, let me start with this. Obviously, the Earth is flat. We are hurling through space on the back of a space tortoise held up by 4 sacred elephants. So, that's my culture, people. So don't be, disrespecting that. So it's a triangle. There are only 3 elephants. I'm not an astronaut. I don't know. I've not been out to space. But let me tell you, let's all keep the space turtle in our thoughts and prayers because I don't want him getting COVID. Arrow, you got any thoughts about flat Earth?
Mark, you stole my answer. I really wanted to make the same one practically, but honestly, real answer, I believe it's very spherical. So we'll leave it there.
The Earth is round.
Can we prove that? Can anybody in this chat, in this voice chat, and in this stream chat prove that it is round? Have any of you been into outer space to observe it?
You don't have to do that. You
Personally,
can look at the
if our
the
friend,
curvature of the
unless
planet.
you guys have gone
The
to
curvature
the moon
of the planet
and looked at the Earth,
is enough. Is curvature of the planet that you can observe from surface level is sufficient to prove that, Mino.
then I don't believe it, because how gravity works is it falls straight down, right? If the Earth was round,
right, it would just
wouldn't
circle
it
around.
just circle around the Earth?
That's right. That is how gravity works. Now, our friend Manta, Dr. Manta, he is an astrophysicist, and so if he was on tonight, some of you may remember Manta, he might be able to tell us. But
because we're doing the trolling, I'm going to link you this video. It is too long for you to sit down and watch now, but when you have some time, you can watch it.
TRZ.
It is titled "In Search of a Flat Earth."
Good. Well, there's a nice documentary.
It is
option
by
for you.
a YouTuber named Folding Ideas.
Nice documentary for all of you to watch in your time off. Hey, K9mer, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. Yeah, will the devs ever implement NPC characters from their original FF games into Dffoo? That's an excellent question. I don't know. Do we have any NPC characters? Oh, you didn't get to play Ragin and Fujin in Cypher.
Did you say from the original games, or what was the question?
From their original FF game into Dffoo.
We have plenty of it.
Yeah, we have Chalinka too. She's not playable in the game she's from.
Amita Telian, Kais.
Oh yeah, you couldn't play a lot of those
Desk.
characters. So
Desk.
Yeah, Ward and Kyros win. So, good question. Thank you, whoever wrote the flat Earth question. Final ASIM.
Final ASIM.
Good job. All right.
All the FF11 characters.
There's a reason I wasn't answering it.
All the FF14.
But we're clearing out the questions channel.
Clearing out the questions channel. These are nice chopsticks. Thank you to my friend Will who bought them for Japan.
Okay, Pateau Cedar asks, this is more of a hypothetical question. As somebody that hoards their LD questions, oh, hey, Mark, you have a friend. What will the community do if we can eventually realize
Personal
or
attack.
advance in some way an LD weapon? Well, when LD weapons were announced, it was made clear that there would be no advancement stat for LD weapons, so that will not happen, which means you are sitting on LD weapons for no reason.
No,
I agree
I disagree. I am not sitting on them for no reason because using the Marie Kondo method, I look at them and they bring me joy. And I count that I have 22 LD weapons, and I can go through and like, how many LD weapons do I have? Oh, wow, I've got almost all of them. And that brings me joy. So, yeah, they're just like trinkets. It's like a charm bracelet. It's like my Dffoo charm bracelet.
We did actually technically get upgrades to LD, but they're on LD boards, which doesn't require you to have the weapon anymore in your inventory to begin with. I'm okay with that.
I agree with Crease. I'm actually getting sick of this question because LDs have been around in JP for over a year, in GL almost 6 months, and people keep asking this, even though we have sources. BC and I literally dissected the Ope video and had the link and clipped it, that the devs specifically said that that was not a popular method for EX Plus, so they're not doing it with LDs, they're doing it with boards. I'm tired of these conspiracy theorists, just like I'm tired of conspiracy theorists in real life, like round earthers. And this is just I just put a rest of this conversation. They're not fucking doing it. Stop fucking asking. Okay.
Jake is saying if you watch my pull videos, I frequently scroll through my inventory. So you get to see all my
and what Arrow is saying.
I watch
true.
Mark's pull videos.
Yeah, Chris doesn't watch any of my stuff. Come on.
And what Arrow says
I'm
is
here
true.
for all the video recordings. Why do I gotta watch them?
All the LD weapons are ugly as shit anyway, so you might as well sell them. Are any of you guys using the LD skin?
I use it for some characters, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yes, they're fucking.
On my Squall, I love that weapon. It looks like a big ceramic sword.
I use Squall's not World of Illusion weapon, mannequin weapon. So, all right. Well, good question. Thank you. Do you want to go on to the next one, Crease?
Sure. Baron asks, would it be fun or possible to create a fight/abyss series where the enemies are basically fully powered player characters? Design a team to defeat, etc. Or is that moving dangerously close to a PvP trial version? Mark, do you want to go first?
Yeah, that would be interesting. There's a lot of other gacha games that do similar things, like you can play against other teams of in-game characters, and usually you have the advantage, unless there's some mechanic that gives the gives the computer like first turn or something like that, where they could like shut you out. But usually the AI is not that good when it comes to the other characters, and it kind of be like auto battling. So it would be interesting. I mean, we do fight mannequins, so if they had the EX, LD, BT abilities, now BT would be broken. But if they had their LD abilities, that might be interesting. So I'm not opposed to it. I don't know how. I think the player, the live player, would always have the advantage, obviously, unless they're programmed really well. Arrow, any thoughts on that?
If they did it, I would really hope they'd increase your HP like a bajillion ton, because you're going to be taking, if they're constantly using their actual skills and they're like PvP characters, they're going to do a lot of damage. We're talking like, what we would normally do for damage. So yeah. So yes, please, if they had made something like that, they'd have to give us a lot more HP in such a mode. But
they would have to give the enemies a bunch of HP as well. Like they have to multiply them by probably 50 times, so it would actually be a reasonable fight. Otherwise, whoever went first would kill the other enemy team.
Exactly. Yeah. Kuja would do 300,000 damage to everyone, and no one has 300,000 HP. So yeah, it would be real short.
The game isn't designed for PvP in mind.
Yeah, Yoshi Pasta is asking. I'll just hit on this briefly. There's sometimes, as a content creator, if you record gameplay and you're using music from the in-game to share on YouTube or even on Twitch, Twitch now is having a little bit of issues with music, copyright music, and YouTube is the same thing. So I'm not sure that Squex can do anything about that or is going to do anything about that. I know when I upload videos to YouTube, I do not use in-game music, or I do not use copyrighted music. I use the YouTube music, if I use music at all. And we usually don't use music when we stream. So, but yeah, it's a serious issue. So I haven't heard any of them doing anything about it, but I know a lot of people are frustrated, especially on Twitch, trying to figure out how to, illegally stream music to make money doing something that doesn't cost them anything. So it's just one of these.
You can just purge the audio and play something else.
One of these, you don't make the game that you're making money playing. So I don't have a lot of, pity for,
sorry, we're going on a little bit of a tangent, but music copyright holders have a very different opinion of copyright than game copyright holders, for various reasons. Music copyright, they've designed a method because music has different aspects to it. You can stream music, or you can play music, and no matter how you play it, you're going to get the same experience no matter how you play it. You can get it from YouTube, you can get it from a streaming service, you can buy it directly, and you can buy a disc. Any way you get it, it's going to be the same experience pretty much. It'll change slightly depending on the audio device that plays it, or the way you download it, or the way it's encoded, but it'll still be the same song. Gaming experiences are very different, so copyright for it is much vaguer. So uploading gameplay footage is much freer from those copyright protections, but the music in gameplay is not. So if the music is copyright protected and the copyright holders are not necessarily the same people as the game companies, or for weird reasons, the game composers have some weird rights, it can cause issues. For example, there's a bunch of popular games that license popular music, and that popular music can flag copyright protection issues. I think Square Enix runs into this several too. Yeah, it's a huge mess right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ragnamuni says it was getting hit over some sound effects too, and there are sound effects that are copyrighted. Industrial Light and Magic certainly, and Skywalker Sound. Copyrights a whole bunch of sound effects.
Copyright law does need a huge revamp to deal with the way sharing and stuff works in the current times. It hasn't really caught up with the way the internet works.
Well, yeah, I mean, just kind of being real basic about it, and obviously copyright law is not my thing at all, right? It's not my wheelhouse, but, if I'm an artist, then music copyright goes back way, way before even the internet. I remember early internet, Napster, that kind of stuff with all that, but even before that, I remember growing up in church, and people were talking about making actual copies of music, choral music that you were supposed to buy because of copyright law. And so, it goes back a long time. But yeah, if I stream a song while I'm playing on Twitch from YouTube, the artist isn't getting any money unless, really, they're not getting any money. But if I'm playing Dffoo and I'm making people excited about Dffoo, they're more likely to go play Dffoo and spend money on the game, right? So, us doing content for Dffoo does help, hopefully, the game make more money, as opposed to me playing music in the background of me playing Dffoo is not helping the artists who made that music get any money. I mean, that's kind of my
The thing is
basic
that
idea
music
about it.
copyright's a weird issue because typically the copyright holders are not the creators of the songs. They are companies that own the copyrights to the songs.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a weird mess in many issues.
Well, that's been
Anyways,
your civics lessons for
that's your
tonight.
tangent of copyright and the weird mess. Movies tend to fall into the music end of the spectrum if you're wondering where that falls.
Yeah.
Books and dramatic readings tend to fall somewhere in the middle, closer to the video game end, depending on how dramatic the retelling is.
All right. Well, is there another question? We got time for a few more.
Necklord. We do have more questions.
Yes.
Necklord asked, and this is kind of a weird thing. I don't really know how to process this, so someone's going to have to help me with this question. Necklord says, something dawned on me when I was on my own. Any character you use works better when they have good abilities, right? Then if you take something already good like Galuf and add in the finest, freshest mechanics, what do you get? The ultimate tank experience. So I ask you, TCC, what's your favorite tank mechanic?
This is a copy pasta of the Gladio meme. That's what Gladio says about cup noodles.
That is Gladio's.
Yeah,
that is Gladio's mission dialogue about cup noodles.
It is?
Yes,
Okay.
that is
It's
literally
a copy pasta? Okay,
yes,
I can delete it.
If you watched my Gladio Should You Pull, yes, I included that dialogue. But yeah,
Okay.
what is your favorite tank mechanic, I think is the basic question, although as Necklord always does, framed in a fun, memey way. My favorite tank mechanic is I really like Bosch's mechanic of absorbing AoE attacks. I think that's really awesome. Arrow, what's your favorite tank mechanic? Oh, sorry, Mino.
Oh, I was saying wall shields are a classic. Every time they are strong, everyone loves them. They only get pushed out because they lose synergy strength. That's it. But when they're in season, they feel so good. Nothing beats it.
Yeah, sure. They're using them again. Black Cloud was just talking about using them in Transcendence, right? So
anytime they're fucking in synergy. 2-week synergy that we just passed, everyone loved using Wall. They come back in synergy when he repeats in JP again. So, like the synergy trend is, for better or for worse, here to stay.
Arrow, what's your favorite tank mechanic?
I like just absorbing this stuff or like really mitigating like the amount of brave damage or HP damage done. So, but I don't necessarily like it all done like in Bosch's case where he just doesn't do any damage on top of that. I don't really like that. But I do like characters like Leon and Celis. Those are probably some of my favorite tanks. And then like, Desh, of course. I skipped on Aphmouth. It wasn't like I didn't try with some tickets. I just wasn't lucky there. But I tend to like those kind of gimmicks more where like you reduce damage. So that's why I like Porum, for example, or even in Nine's case, I like that emergency button with that LD. Ooh, you can just like, no party damage for one big fat attack. And Mino says that Porum is not a tank, but that she has tanking mechanics, I feel like. So about the shield thing, I want to actually address that a little bit. When you're not in synergy and you're using shields, you need to think of it more like you're mitigating maybe one or two good, one nasty attacks, like brave attacks, and maybe to mitigate some HP damage. You really can't keep them up all the time. So it's more about like, when do I need these the most? That's what I realized when I was playing 9 yesterday for the Gladio Lefenia. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. I will pass it to the next person.
Oh, that would be Kreese. What's your favorite tank mechanic?
I still like Snow's tank mechanic. Oh. Just sit there and be a big wall of meat that doesn't get hurt at all. He just sits there and he absorbs hits, doesn't take any damage. I loved that mechanic for as long as it lasted. He's kind of been inconsequential for a while because he doesn't have character boards, and he's kind of fallen behind stat-wise for that reason, but I loved him.
Yeah. All right, good question, Necklord. Thank you for the punny mimi
Okay.
thing.
Our next question comes from Mino Spellgood. Why is Mark's taste so bad?
Mark, I'll let you answer this first before I rebut.
I don't know. Upbringing, probably.
It says right there in chat. Do you want me to answer what you put in chat?
If you have to.
I don't have to.
You don't have to, no.
Okay.
Yes, in podcast questions, Mino asked, why is Mark's taste so bad? And I responded, ask your mom. So, yeah, that's probably enough with that, so.
I'm too tired to give the full response. So, I mean, I was really heated the day he was talking about it. This originated when he said that FF6 is overrated, and he said that people say it has the best story, but it's just because it's so sparse that people fill in all the gaps.
Oh, I didn't say it was so sparse. No.
And
No.
Inkwelder, who has our entire server muted, had to come in for this one, and it's just everyone just jumped on. Mark, I don't think you had a single person in chat that agreed with you, but I'm too tired. I at the day of, I argued it. I wrote, as often when I get worked up, I'll write an essay and then throw it in the trash because that's how you.
All I said
way to work out the rage.
All I said was, for a lot of these games, the pre-voice acting games. That's what we were talking about. The pre-voice acting games.
Kill you.
That we as players we got to inject a lot of our own imagination into the story. So we got to add things to the story. And it's the same for Star Wars, right? I mean, Star Wars fans created an entire world that, like everybody in that cantina in the original Star Wars movie had a name and a story within a year of that movie coming out, because Star Wars fans, even early on, were fanatic about, what I want to know every X-Wing pilot. I want to know every TIE fighter story. And so, I mean, it's the same with some of these old games. The characters were not as well fleshed out in the game because of, limitations of storytelling, and so we were able to kind of create for ourselves some extra story. I'm not saying that Final Fantasy VI is not a good story, that it's not one of the best Final Fantasies, that it, but it's not winning any writing awards, nor is any Final Fantasy. I think we all agree on that. That being said,
I think you're already pissing off new people in chat, and I just like blacked out in the middle of that speech out of rage. So I'm just gonna gloss over that and just say that it's okay. Mark's old. Star Wars is not the same.
I'm old enough to actually have played Final Fantasy VI when it came out, so I understand. I do not like Final Fantasy VI. I've spent hundreds of hours playing Final Fantasy, so it's not that I haven't found the cutscenes. I don't think your characters are well developed as you think. Their story arcs are not that exciting. Half of the main cast in Final Fantasy VI doesn't even have story arcs. Some of them you never even talk about. They're so good. Let alone any of the freaking secondary characters besides Leo that you never even hear about. So yeah, come on, give me. If you really break it down, yeah, it's. You can talk about how much you love it all that you want. I think Inkwelder said, I've played it 15 times and I still love it. Yeah, well. I've watched 15, Evil Dead 15 times, and it doesn't mean it's good, right? Sometimes we like things that are bad. It's fine.
So I'm willing to forgive Mark because this must be what it's like on the receiving end. This must be what it's like. This must be what I subject people to on a daily basis. So a benefit of the doubt. If this is karma, right?
Evil Dead is
I
good.
spend all day, every day trolling the DFFOO community, saying dumb shit just to get a rise out of them. This is karma because now I see what it's like. And, and from the other side, I know the best tactic is just not to engage in this. I'm just not gonna give Mark what he wants. And, holy shit. I don't know. If you're interested in this discussion, we had this on our Discord a couple days back. But
I would, in all seriousness, first of all, everyone knows I love all Final Fantasy games. There are certain characters I hate. I love the Final Fantasy VIII plot. But it would be very interesting to, obviously video games have not been considered art by a lot of the art community when it comes to writing, all that kind of stuff. But, they have broached, from those early days until what video games are today, a kind of a new form of art and an interactive form of art. So an interactive form of storytelling. And so, that's one of the reasons that I think we all like Final Fantasy, right? Because we spend a lot of time in these worlds. Final Fantasy VI, how many hours could you spend on Final Fantasy VI? 50, 60? Easy, right? Over 100 hours in some of the newer Final Fantasy games, easy, with just a one playthrough, let alone multiple playthroughs. So, we get invested in these characters, and we get invested in their stories and their, there is great story arcs in Final Fantasy VI, and most of the Final Fantasy games have some really interesting character arcs, story arcs, and so it would really be interesting to kind of look and see if somebody took all of the games, just kind of the stories, and kind of did an evaluation from an outside perspective and said, okay, what is really, what's the best constructed story? What's the best written story? What's the most original story? Because they all obviously pull from different things and add different things here and there. So,
last thing before I pass it to Arrow. First of all, people have done this, Mark. It's not like nobody with any literary analysis background has never fucking looked into the FF stories. This has been done a million times.
Okay, well then link it.
Okay, I will. And the second thing is, Mark is probably illiterate, so of course he didn't catch all the story points of FF6 when he was a child. I think he told me he had dyslexia in confidence.
Yeah.
And that he didn't learn how to properly read until he was 20 years old.
Yeah.
So just just take that with a grain of salt. And then Arrow, please close us out before we spend the rest of the podcast.
I am a professional writer, but that's fine. Yeah, I didn't learn how to read till I was 20.
I'm done. That's it, Mark. Go, Arrow. Go.
Okay, so I have played these games, since I was a small child, and I was one of those people that would make up random scenarios while the characters were fighting and stuff, and I'd have them have conversations in my head and stuff. I was a very imaginative child, so I do that with some of these older games too, because it just kind of makes the games really fun and entertaining for me to make random commentary about these characters and their interactions with each other. So one of my favorite games I ever did that with was The Last Remnant. Man, that game, wow. I spent a lot of time in that game, and it was partially because of these weird scenarios I was making up in my head why these guys were going and fighting all these battles, because it was half these side quests made zero sense to even exist in the game world, and here I am doing them anyway. To me, that was part of what made gaming fun when I was a small child.
The takeaway of this, and then Kreese, please move us on to the next question immediately, is that agree to disagree, and TC Rathi says that FF14 has a better story than he ever thought possible in an MMO and possibly a game in general. Let's just all agree FF14 sucks.
I disagree with that, but we'll move on.
Yeah, that's what I haven't played.
Sism asks, pumpkin or pecan pie, the real argumentative question of tonight.
Pumpkin, 100%.
I say pecan pie is better than pumpkin pie, especially for the season we're in right now. Pecan pie is the true pie of Thanksgiving. Arrow?
Fucking dead to me.
I love both.
You're all dead. You're all dead to me after tonight, honestly.
I'm going to give it to pecan pie. I really like pecans a lot. And again, I like both, but if I can only pick one, it's going to be the pecan pie.
So Arrow's from
Josh
Georgia.
was asking how he pronounced pecan.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Arrow's from Georgia.
I was gonna fucking bring it up. Is this an accent thing? Because I grew up with pecan pie, and I know Josh is from Cali and LA, just like I am. Pecan, but is that an accent thing? We've heard pecan and whatever, but
okay, type it into Google and ask it to pronounce it.
I'm Googling.
It's the way I pronounce it. It's pecan.
Pecan.
You can say it either way, I thought. I always
Yeah.
said it as pecan, and nobody's
Shit.
ever corrected me before, so
Alright,
I think it's a
so-
dialect thing.
But
It
so
is,
so Arrow is from Georgia, where they grow pecans, and if you've ever had fresh pecans,
I'm from the place where you pronounce it correctly.
they're
Okay,
delicious.
well, I'm going to tell you that
They're so good.
nobody in my family says it as pecan. We all say pecan, and a lot of my family is from the state. They've lived here their whole lives practically. So I don't know if it's just you pick one or the other, like tomato.
What's that ice cream
potato.
place? What's that ice cream chain down by you guys?
Brewster's?
Yeah, Brewster's. Yeah, so there's this ice cream chain. Like for us here, it's like Baskin Robbins, and I mean here we have local ones, but Baskin Robbins is a big chain up by us. But they have a big chain down there called Brewster's. Oh Lord, the first time I had a turtle sundae down there, I mean it changed my life. I hated pecans until I had fresh pecans from Georgia. Delicious. But I love pumpkin pie once a year at Thanksgiving. My wife is making one tomorrow. I'm very looking forward to it. I only like it once a year. It's one of those things, I don't need pumpkin pie any other time. I just need pumpkin pie like once, and I'm great. So I don't hate pecan pie, but pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, please.
Okay, so I mean, this is a sure sign of the holidays because everyone's fucking fighting right now. In voice chat and in stream chat. Like, I just can't stand you guys right now. So many.
I knew this would be the real
different-
fighting question.
So many. We'll get to it, but so many fucking differing opinions drive me nuts. I hate you guys already. I hate chat. I looked it up. Okay. Kreese is technically right.
Thank you.
Pecan is the original pronunciation. So that is technically the most correct. Technically, if you want to go by the oldest pronunciation, pecan is the technical oldest pronunciation. And then I know there's going to be people in fucking chat arguing that language evolves and blah, 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 and pecan is viewed as just as fucking correct. I say pecan myself, but if we're going by original pronunciation, closest to the origin of the word, it is pecan. So I learned something today. But I just wanted to point out that everybody hates everybody right now. I'm just so mad right now. It's really Thanksgiving really is coming up, I guess. So what's the
Yep.
next fucking question?
I'm glad we could all fight about something so wholesome as pie and the
Delicious.
pronunciation of pecan. Okay, Some Call Me Brian asks, so now that we are in the Lufenia era, I think it's time to look back and ask ourselves, are there any characters that you regretted purpling or polling for recently? How about newer characters that you've had a blast playing with? I guess I'll go first. I don't think I've had any characters I've regretted polling for since the LD era specifically. There have definitely been characters I've had less use for than I thought I would. For example, Vaughn. Vaughn LD, I think I just used for the story chapter stuff. Like, I didn't even use him for his 2-week synergy. That's how little I used him. So he was I used him for exactly one challenge quest and one chaos, I guess. That was it. So I kind of regret wasting resources on Vaughn LD. Like, I could have gone for him whenever he came back at some point. Like, I didn't get his BT, I didn't really care about him. Any characters I've really had a blast playing with, I've had a lot more fun playing with Machina than I ever thought I would. I kind of ticketed him on a whim because I skipped him the first time, and he has been a blast. I've used him way more than I thought I would. So those are my characters on both ends of the spectrum. Arrow?
Somebody I didn't use as much as I thought I would. Oh, I feel bad saying it, but Kieran, man, I really wanted to, but I think part of my problem was I wasn't pulling meta enough characters that would have worked really well with him. And the choice that I used more than I thought I would is definitely Kimari. Man, that guy is sick. What were they thinking with that? Like, he's a pretty good LD, and that rework really did a lot for him. So that was a character I've used a lot more than I anticipated. as you know, that's fairly recent. And yes, on Kieran, I do plan to pull next month for the LD. I am gymming. I will be pitting the LD. I think it's a really interesting rework, and I think they're going to finally get the tempo battery down for him. So I'm very
Arrow,
excited.
just to clarify, the question was about characters you regret purpling or
Yes.
pulling for recently.
Oh, recently though.
Yeah. Which is the reason I kept myself in the LD era.
I don't know of anyone I've really regretted. Even all the old characters I purpled, like I purpled Cypher and Thancred and like who else? Sid. I didn't regret any of them. I had fun playing them for like the month or whatever they had, and I still enjoy playing them now in co-op randomly. So I have no regrets on any purples. But Kieran's the only one I can think of that I really regretted ever. But for really weird reasons.
We got some good ones in chat.
Yeah.
Very conflicting ones. So Ragnamune says Ami is one I'm glad because I used them even recently.
As a regret?
They were happy they pulled
Yeah.
it because they used them recently in Bahamut Lufania. And then Riku immediately after says he regrets Ami, but is used 9 way more than they ever thought. And then immediately after Speedy Ultra says 9 is their regret. So, a lot of back and forth, a lot of conflicting opinions. These are good ones, but sorry, who's next to give their opinion?
Yeah, I regret accidentally getting Porum's EX as I was going for Kuja's LD. I just may sell it to rid myself of that problem. I also regret not getting Warrior of Light's burst weapon. So, you can't live in your regrets though forever. I've pulled on every single banner. Yeah, I mean, looking back, I probably shouldn't have pitied Squall's burst weapon, but I said that when I did it. I probably didn't need to spend that much on Shantoto or a Metatilian. I didn't really use a Metatilian ever, I don't think. I still don't know how to play Strago. I'm still trying to figure that guy out, so maybe he'll come in use one of these days, but I pulled on everybody and it's fine, whatever.
I regret Kafka BT. I got bullied into that by Shara and Squex Joshua. We were doing the charity stream, and
you did it for the kids, though. That's good.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, in the spirit of the charity stream, I said, "Hey, if there's a donation of X amount of dollars, I think it's at 50, I will be willing to pull Kefka BT up to pity." And sure. But if we're just talking about gameplay regrets, one, I never used Kefka BT for anything. And second, Shara and Josh weren't willing to match my weren't willing to match my offer because I was like, hey, you guys should also pity something if we hit a donation goal. And both of them backed out.
Aww.
And that's officially upsetting because Josh gets free gems from Square Enix. So so he had nothing to lose. But no, yes. Kefka BT was trash, and I hate Kefka. No, I love the character, but I just hate the gameplay.
Oh, you heard it. Somebody clip it. I need that clip later.
Clip it.
I hate Kefka. Yes.
I will never forgive the 6 debuffs framed on Kefka. Although to be fair, in JP they finally, 7 months down the line, they raised the debuff limit, so he's not taking up 100% of the slots by himself. So maybe he'll become much more usable when his LD boards come and all his buffs are golden frames, or they fucking condense his debuffs or some shit. But taking up 100% of the debuffs, not a fun mechanic. What a piece of shit. But I digress.
Play with anyone right now, yeah.
Yeah. I digress. Characters that I was surprised at. Let's see, newer characters I'm having a blast with. It's not a surprise, but I knew I would love Edward, and I've used him a shit ton since he released. Just because I like Edward and I like the 100% support mentality.
Here you go.
Ready to move on to the next question?
Yeah, let's move on.
Parsnippins asks, piggybacking off of Brian's question, are there any recommendations / dismissals on the podcast you would redo if given the chance? And I don't know if I don't really make recommendations on this podcast. I just kind of assess character kits and just leave them at that. So I don't know if I really have anything to change per se. I guess I'll retract what I said about Kuja last week because Mino called me out on it in chat. After playing with Kuja for a little over a week, I don't think he's going to last past his 2 weeks energy. I said it. He's a fun character to play with, but his power, I think I overstated it. He is fun, he's strong, but I don't think he's gonna really go past this. So there you go. That's my so I think I will change my statement. I'll retract how much I played up Kucha's strength.
I forgot that I called Crease out on that, but I do stand by it. I didn't get to record it on the podcast proper, but I think all you people that pulled for Kuja did it just for farming.
Well, that's what I said on the show last week. I said,
and
that's it.
and that's fair, but I remember it's just like it was such a meme that people were like, pull things for farming, because I remember I used to say things like, oh, you know, twins would be great for farming trash nodes, or Yang, or you know, whatever, or Yuna. And every time we said it, everyone in the comments would be like, lol, pulling things for farming, right? And yet here is the de facto character to pull just for farming. And I mean, I don't have anything against pulling for farming, but let's not pretend Kuja is great for anything but farming. And I think I said in chat last week during the podcast, and I'll say it now here, he's worse than the other characters because you're speeding up boards and then saying dead game after you finish Bahamut boards in 4 hours. And that's been true. I've taken screenshots all over Discord and social media to prove it. There's a lot of people who pitied Kuja's LD, sped through the boards, and then just called dead game, and probably won't use Kuja ever again after 2 weeks in.
Yeah, CSAM and Speedy Ultra are right, and this goes into our next question. Well, we have so many resources, Mino, that there's no regrets. My advice is pull every single banner and get every single weapon, and then you're not disappointed. So that's the best advice. We have plenty of resources. Just go to town, people. Yeah, and for completing summon boards in 4 hours and 2 weeks energy, Kefka was a great investment. I like Kefka too, but
you mean Kuja?
Yeah, Kefka and Kuja, both of them great. I have they're both get their kits, but I've already used Kuja more than I've used Shantoto, Vaughn, and Kefka. I mean, I used them in 2 weeks energy challenge quests. But, I mean, I used Kuja to master every board on Bahamut, and then probably every board that I master from here on for the next several months. So he's going to get a lot of use. Arrow, any regrets?
No.
You're perfect
I don't know.
advice.
Even like on the bad characters, I don't know. Okay, so with is this about Kuja still? Because I was a little confused.
No, just
the general question was about do you have any recommendations or dismissals that you've made on the podcast that you regret making and would change?
Wow, if only I could remember what I've said like months ago, maybe. But I gotta be real. ADHD kind of keeps me from always remembering stuff. I may have undersold Kuja just a tad. I think he's gonna pop up. He's gonna be like Squall. He's gonna pop up on every now and then. And Speedy Ultra, I definitely do not regret Kistis. I think she was 100% worth the purple at Trey's event. She's still very good now. Awesome. Definitely zero regrets there. Absolutely can't say it enough. I think I really can't think of a character I was like I undersold or oversold that really shouldn't have been. But I have a feeling it's going to either be Gao or Kuja. I'm going to wind up being like, man, I probably should have just said a little bit more to hype them because there's very interesting characters I think people are going to find very funny things to do with.
Before we move on, let me yell at chat for a bit. Macnell says to me, "You're directly contradicting your stance that all 2-week synergy characters are good, Mino." No, I specifically put that disclaimer that I pulled characters just for farming. That's where Yang came from. And I even debated purpling Yuna. Luckily, I struck out on her EX. I believe in the 2-week synergy, and I believe that when I pull a character, they are only good for 2 weeks on average. The problem is whenever I say that anywhere, people flip a shit because they're like, if you think 2 weeks is good value for your gem pulls, you're fucking crazy. And I've been told this. You can search it in a Discord too, because people expect when they pull a meta unit like Gladio that it'll carry them for 7 months. I fully believe any fucking unit I pull, if I use it for 3 fucking events or 2 weeks, that's good value out of them. But the general populace of DFFOO players do not think like that. They want characters to carry them for months and months and months. So I'm saying a lot of these same players pulled Kuja, calling Kuja meta, but I doubt very much that many of them are going to use him after the 2-week period. Especially when you've got like Gladio, Rude, and Lightning running around, Cloud coming up. Like, who's gonna fucking carry Kuja through? Like Arrow says, there's always gonna be those niche players who will make their resources work for them. But the general populace looks for characters like so many people shit on Strago when we were covering Strago. They're like, oh, so he's gonna be good. He's gonna be niche for like 2-3 fights in the future. Why would I pull for that shit? Well, same for Kuja. I just don't see it because the synergy bias is so fucking strong. So I'm reflecting that on that. And then Sniper in chat is saying, does anyone regret Vivi? And that is I've been seeing around a lot. Whereas I don't think Vivi is a bad character at all. But a lot of people in the same vein thought, hey, Vivi is a GL first LD. He should be the top DPS for 7 months.
Right.
And then a lot of people haven't been using him for Lufania, even though he's perfectly viable. But as I fucking said, and I'm going to toot my own horn here, Vivi is difficult to use.
He's difficult to use, yes.
Yeah.
People underestimate how much HP damage he does to the party and how much you have to build around them. I swear to shit, I said this on stream. I said, people are not going to like Vivi because you have to fucking use your brain. It's not like Gladio and Rude that you can plug into any party and make them work. Vivi, you have to build around. And it's true. So many people avoid this. So anyone in chat who's saying like, oh, you're wrong. I pulled Kuja. I'm going to use him after the 2-week synergy. Are you using Vivi? Because he works just fine. Just you have to think a little harder. And I always believe in my line of work that 99% of the population takes the path of least resistance.
Yeah, Vivi,
Okay.
Vivi is... Oh, go ahead, Arrow.
Yeah, I want to step in. And yeah, Vivi came out at a really awkward time because the characters he works best with as healers were not on banners anymore.
Right.
And I'm going to stress that. Nobody really pulled Desh, I don't think. I don't think a lot of people did. Nine and Kimari. Like, nobody who pulled for those 3 guys? Like, not a lot of people did. And that makes it really tricky to run Vivi right now. We're going to get some new healers coming up next month, I think, with, like Rude and stuff. But until then, it's kind of hard to run him with a lot of the current healers.
So Vivi has been used in every... I mean, Vivi's really good. So don't like... I imagine people are regretting pulling Vivi because he's not RNA put into any team win. He is really, really powerful, but you do need to build around him more than you need to build around some of these characters. So, for example, Vivi's been used in every Lufania, but looking at Gladio's Lufania, I think, let's see... Is it Belial? No, Red 13 used Porum, Vivi, Shantoto. Okay? That's a very specific team that's built around Vivi's strengths. The other Vivi run that I see in the Call to Arms, well, there's a Noctis Gladio Vivi, so you can still Noctis, double Noctis. That's a double Noctis run. You can still double Noctis Vivi, destroy things. And that may have been, that's a 1-turn. Soups did that. So Noctis, Gladiolus, Vivi, Friend Noctis, 1 turn. The other Vivi was Lena and Warrior of Light. So, I mean, very specific teams built around Vivi. So, but yeah, and, Lufania, every orb is different. And so you either have to figure out how to ignore the orb or how to deal with it. And, you can't just throw characters in. But Vivi has been used on every single Lufania and probably will be until he stops being good.
Summons Biscuits asking, with Lufania orbs, are any characters plug and win going forward? Well, Gladio and Rude
Gladio's pretty
are
good.
are they're the last characters that are hyped as solve your all your fucking problem meta characters. You'll notice if I guarantee you, if I ask any casual player in main court or right here in chat,
Gladio and Rude, you said?
yeah,
You
I'll
Rude.
say, yeah, I'll ask like, who is the
Rude's gonna
next
get hyped.
must pull character after Rude? I guarantee you, no one can give me a fucking answer, because from then on, Lufania orbs push
Yep.
roster variety and strength. Gladio and Rude are known as the last super must-have meta characters. Some people will say maybe like Lightning, or some people will say like Terra, LDBT, but very few people can give you a definitive answer of who is the next must-pull meta, because Lufania starts forcing diversity. But with Lufania orbs, Gladio and Rude's kits are so loaded that you pick a character that takes care of the orb, you throw in Rude or Gladio for defensive purposes, and then you throw in a recent DPS, and you're fine for the most part. Okay, so like the problem is with Gladio and Rude is they're so loaded that in terms of defense, that is all you fucking need. Then you build around the orb, then you build DPS. That is it. And so moving forward, VV is a great character. I think it was a great GL first. He gives us options, but he's also not a press to win button.
He's a dangerous character to bring to Lufania right now.
Is great, yeah.
Yeah.
And people make him work, and he really is worth the investment for people. But like I said, not a fucking brain dead character. I knew a lot of people would hate him immediately. And it's just like think about your roster. I'm not on the podcast anymore, but with my guest appearance here, what I always say in our mod chat is, instead of looking at what the next must pull character is, you plan ahead. You look at the next couple of Lufania orbs for the next 2 or 3 weeks and ask yourself if you have a recent enough roster. And I said on the stream yesterday too, if we're talking about the beginning of Lufania, you look ahead at a couple of orbs, you look at like Kurosame, you said ice character. Do I have a recent ice character? If not, do I pull Kurosame? Or if I'm already planning to pull Kurosame, do I need Realm? Like, don't overlap. This is why people are losing resources. Check what's coming up and see if you can make the check. That's all the game has become. Stop pulling every character. The challenge quests have built up this habit of synergy stomping. Ask yourself, if you don't do TCC challenges regularly, we said this in the fucking garbage time, TCC challenges train you to look past synergy stomping. Out of all your Lufania clears, how much synergy do you use? And can you stop that going forward? Because it's not sustainable pulling synergy for every Lufania. You have to plan ahead and check your roster for Lufania gimmicks. That is it. So watch your resources.
Yeah, watch your resources, but we have plenty of resources. Chris,
right.
let's get to a couple other listener questions. I know there are some Mino questions in the channel, but we have some listener questions that we could knock off really quickly.
I'm going to try to hit the ones that we'll answer fast.
Yes, thank you.
So we'll clear these out fast.
Yes.
And then we'll go to the Mino question.
I was going to say, this next one has a lot of reactions. People probably want to.
We're going to skip that one and we'll answer the next couple, because I think we're going to answer those faster. Then we'll jump to the Mino question.
Okay.
Alzahard Mistleton asks, will we ever get a button for 10 ticket pulls at a time? And the answer is no. The reason we're not going to get that is because there's a times investment for ticket pulling. You get the free ticket pull, but you have to waste time on doing them individually. So we'll never get the 10 ticket pulls at a time, in my opinion. Arrow?
Yeah, I think people get excited about single ticket pools in terms of like content creation. Who would be as excited? It would be much quicker, you're right, if we had 10 ticket pulls. But I don't know many games that do that. Like, I mean, usually with like multis, it's always with the premium currency of some sort. So I can't see it happening.
Yeah, I agree with Kreese. I think he's right on it. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Mistleton.
I'm also being dumb in chat, so excuse me.
No, that's fine. Kaitis, I'd like to hear a little bit more about your question. I think that sounds like an interesting question, but I need a little bit more clarification. Do the hosts have any experience with finding a way to get resources budgeted and still manage content creation? Why I do that, I think. So if there's a little bit further you can kind of help us understand what you're asking, that would be great, because I think that might be an interesting question. As a content creator, it can be hard to stockpile resources, as the normal way of achieving this is skipping banners where possible. That leaves a dearth of first-hand content. So yeah, right. So how do you, as a content creator, how do you create content every week and still have resources? Well, the TCC podcast has multiple hosts, so we try to make sure that there's at least one person or a guest host who has the new kits for the new characters. Or if you're like me, you just pull on every banner and get every content. But it's a hard game. If you're going to be a content creator and you want to pull on everything, you need to bring in some money so that you can pull on everything and get everything. Or you can just, basically you can just make crap up. Have somebody else tell you what to say, and then you say it, and I mean, that's the other option. You can
also do a lot of research on each character and try to be as objective as possible.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you don't really need to, for this game, if you're going to do content creation, you don't really need to pull the character or anything. You can just read DissidiaDB on YouTube.
Yeah, that is one option. So Anomander asks, Thanksgiving in the FF universe, would you eat a chocobo instead of a turkey? God, that is an abhorrent question. Why would you even think that's like eating a horse? You can't eat a chocobo. That's wrong. You are a bad person.
People do eat horse meat though around the world. We don't in America, but it's actually a thing. Like I think French people eat it, anyway.
Okay,
like
so
regularly?
some people are saying that.
Like, do they serve it as a delicacy?
There's 7 people in chat. Yeah, horse meat's great. What are you talking about?
Chocobo
sounds good.
Everyone's saying great. Horse, but I gotta ask you guys, like, was horse meat eaten when there was no other recourse, or as like a gimmick, or is it like a staple?
It was a staple.
I think it's a weird American. I think it's a weird. No, I think it's a weird.
No,
American
it really
thing
was.
That we don't eat horses. Yeah, I think it's a weird American thing that we don't eat horses. But
it was very
everything
common.
Else, right? We eat everything else.
Kaitis is asking. I don't know if I want to answer this question, but I might as well.
I mean, I've eaten gator meat, so.
Oh well, alligators are delicious.
Well, and Summon Biscuits here did say some people in America do eat horse meat. He says
they do.
They say horse meat is eaten in America. Yeah. I honestly don't know where.
More exotic for most Americans.
I thought we had some weird things where it was illegal in some places to eat horse meat here. Anyway, that's who cares?
Never heard of it being illegal.
I don't think it's illegal.
Usually it's just uncommon.
Oh, it's sold to us by Canada. The Canadians are selling us black market horse meat. But they do eat chocobo in, obviously the chocobo eater eats chocobo. But like there's some, like in Final Fantasy 15, you can get some like chocobo dishes, can't you?
There are some chocobo dishes in some of the Final Fantasies, I think.
I don't know. Anyway, I wouldn't eat a chocobo. They're adorable. They're good friends. You don't eat your friends.
There are some state laws that vary according to some biscuits.
I'm not gonna.
As Arrow's like, well, with some good barbecue sauce, cook me up a chocobo.
I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna be soft like Mark.
And Sniper is mentioning that they do eat possums in some southern states. So
yeah, that's fair.
That is true.
I'm saying, the thinking I was saying is you don't eat things you ride because the muscle makes all the meat stringy and tough. That's not what you eat. Like when you breed animals to eat, you do the opposite. You restrict them so they can't move and they can't see and there's never in sunlight, so they're all nice and juicy and succulent. Why would you want to eat tough meat and muscle? That's gross. I'm not going to say it's because they're your friends. That's bullshit. But I just don't think it's good quality meat. All the A5 meat is stuff that from animals that never get any exercise and are like born in jail.
And are fat.
Yes.
All right. Good question. Thank you, Anomander.
Okay. Do we want to go to the Mino question?
Yeah, well, let's ask.
Let's go.
Question. Go to because we answered a Mistleton question. Go to Dropman. Read his question.
Okay.
And
What
then
is the
we can
one
talk,
dish that is always on your Thanksgiving table that might not be on most people's? Their example is scalloped corn, a 100-year recipe. Okay, the original recipe card is still around and dated 1908. Mark or Arrow, do either of you want to take this first? I gotta think about this.
Yeah, I thought when I read that originally, it was like, what's your, like, always at Thanksgiving? My family Thanksgiving traditions have changed many, many times. And so there were years we never ate turkey. We used to eat duck on Thanksgiving. That used to be a big thing. I think Mino was talking about that last night, duck and something else. Duck and lamb. Oh, man, that sounds like a great Thanksgiving meal. But yeah, I mean, we pretty much for the last several years we do double Thanksgiving. We're not doing it this year, but normal stuff: ham, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole. Every once in a while, my dad cooks for my side of the family, and he's always coming up with something weird from year to year, but generally pretty stable. One year we did since my immediate family is multicultural. We did a multicultural Thanksgiving, which was ridiculously probably offensive for all of our family members. But as we have,
I'm
yeah.
trying to think, and in general, my family sticks to a pretty traditional, quote unquote, Thanksgiving meal. We don't really deviate too much. So there's nothing out of the ordinary for our meals. Nothing worth mentioning that's doesn't deviate
Cup of
from what
noodles.
you'd expect. Like there's like a sweet potato casserole. There's a green bean with like cashew sort of thing. There's turkey. There's a couple other dishes that I can't think of off the top of my head, but nothing too exotic. We do different things for
Gross.
Christmas. Christmas is where we deviate from the norm.
Sorry, Sniper said we have whores every Thanksgiving. I'm dying.
Thanksgiving, just like the Pilgrims and the Native Americans did. If you're looking for a new family tradition, try Cup of Noodles Thanksgiving flavor. Available at stores near you. Arrow,
they have the Thanksgiving flavor for cup noodles.
Yeah. Arrow, does your family? Mino, turkey should not be dry if you're eating it right.
Too bad Square Enix isn't here to help promote that.
It shouldn't be dry.
Gross.
If it's dry, there's a problem. It
gross.
shouldn't be dry. I know, but it is dry. If it's gross, it dry is gross for a lot of different things. Arrow, are you still with us?
I am totally still with you guys. Everybody, I had somebody asking or saying that I was quiet today. Is it quiet as in the volume or quiet as in I'm not talking
your
enough?
Your volume's good. We're just talking over you. So please, do you have any interesting Thanksgiving traditions?
You know what? Yeah, actually, my grandmother makes a banana pudding every year, but she doesn't bake it. She has this like no bake recipe, and it's absolutely delicious, guys. And I really love that. And my family also makes I guess ambrosia is a little more typical, but you guys might not know what that is. So ambrosia is it's got like a bunch of different fruits like oranges and pineapple and stuff, and there's coconut shreds in it and pecans. That's the correct way to say it. I eat a lot of different things. We have a Southern cuisine type setup in the USA. So, we have the standard stuff like baked macaroni and cheese. We have the dressing, cornbread dressing. We have cornbread. We have the cranberry sauce and all that stuff. So I'm pretty standard, but yes, ambrosia is a HaateXIII is a dish, and it's pretty good, and I really like it a lot. But yeah, I don't think I have too many things like really special outside of what I just kind of mentioned. But the no bake banana pudding, guys, it's delicious. Maybe I'll have to get the recipe from my grandma and share it with you guys in the TCC podcast Discord channel, the special one for the paying subscribers.
Yeah, that would be a great reason to subscribe if you want that banana no-bake banana pudding recipe. Do love a good pudding. Not like you UK puddings. This is like a sweet pudding, like something you should eat. Yeah.
Okay. Mistleton asks,
short
out
stream
of
is
the
going on.
co-hosts and ex-hosts, who is the most like a tank? What does this mean?
Well, I take a lot of abuse from Mino, so I think I am
Doesn't
the most. I'm
Like
the
a
most-
tank in an MMO? Like who takes the takes the most attention and the most damage?
I think I've
Is
taken
that what
the
that
most.
means?
The most. Pierre's built as a tank. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people in chat are already saying they know the real answer. It's me. Mino
He
is the tank.
taunts a lot.
I'm great at grabbing
He
attention.
does draw a lot
I
of aggro.
attract the most haters. I am the
It's true.
dumping ground of the hosts. Like, if anyone's gonna come in and talk shit about TCC, it's Mino, right? Like, no one's gonna say anything about Mark. If you look at all the comments, it's like, oh, Mark's a saint. You know, he would never. I read in Macnell. Macnell has a chat group, and it's like when we were. I think there was this controversy when I said, oh yeah, if you grind for summon boards before the Mog Pass comes, because I think the Mog Pass was coming like what, a week or two after Odin or something really close. I was like, oh, if you grind this early, you're an idiot or something. And I was making the rounds on the internet, and they're like, came from TCC, it must be Mino, because there's no way Mark would say something like that, right? And Kreese is such a nice boy, and you know, so like, if anyone's attracting hate and aggro, it's Mino. And let's all admit, if you guys are in the Discord, you guys ping me with your dumb shit. I never see you guys ping Mark and Kreese. It's ping Mino, making dumb jokes or whatever. By the way, guys, stop pinging me. I'm not your friend. And it's fun on and banter with Mino. I attract all the negative attention up front right here. And while I'm on the podcast, you know, no one's gonna say anything fucking controversial in the chat about Mark, Kreese, or Arrow. All attention is focused right here. Hey, yeah.
Oh, you missed your question, Final ASM. You're gonna have to go back and listen to it. But good to talk to you. Yeah, good job. Nice question. And is Kreese a think tank? He sure is. He's the scholar of
Think tank.
the team. So,
It's a DFFOO meme.
yeah.
Not really sure what that means either.
Arrow is the bard, so you always got to have a bard on your team.
I am a very good support in games. I also like to joke that I'm the mom friend. So I would be y'all's Ignis, your advisor, and your cook on the journey. I even have the glasses. I'm already there.
Yeah, classic evade tank. Thank you, Zarathi. You figured me out. My real work isn't, well, actually I do that in real life too. Oh, I'm the Chandler of the group. Sarcasm. Yeah.
I mean, Kaitis is talking about it, and since Kreese brought it up, I always do main tank in MMOs for progression rating. I play I'm a career tank 100% for all the fucking games. Yeah, I'm tanking a lot of things.
Dad friend.
Dad friend.
Oh,
no one knows what that means.
Dad.
What?
All right.
Wait, Mark and I are much worse than Mino. How are we much worse?
Oh, who's saying we're much?
Sarcasm.
Oh, that's
Teleute,
Riku. Yeah.
Rico's saying we're much worse.
Yeah.
Sarcasm.
Yep.
I mean,
he's yes.
I'm not sure how we're worse. I think we're all equally responsible for the destruction of TCC podcast when it comes to that.
So okay, our final question. We've gone through all of our questions. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you all for being here. So Mino wants to talk about the fact that we have too many resources in Dffoo.
Can you read the question?
Yeah, I will read the question verbatim.
Actually, I want Arrow to do it. I want Arrow to do it. Arrow, put some feeling.
Arrow, can you read Mino's question in podcast questions? Do you have it up?
Yeah, let me open it really quick for you guys. I'm going to the channel now.
this is very important feedback that I want to give to Joshua, and I just checked and he's gone.
I was going to say Joshua's not here
Oh no!
anymore.
So do you guys want me
Not
to ask
even-
it, or do you want Joshua to be here when we do
No, it's too late. Just read the question.
it? Okay, so can we address the real problem of DFFOO giving players too many resources? We had hundreds of tickets a month. That's literally hundreds of times more free pulls than any other gacha game. Everyone is drowning in tickets. It's disgusting. And then the game makes it impossible for you to spend them. I have thousands of tickets, and I fully intend to throw them away, but 100 tickets in, an hour has passed, and my finger is cramping from hitting the pull button.
Okay, first of all,
God, that was so good.
fantastic
That
job,
was so
Arrow.
good.
I just gotta applaud.
That was
And,
so good.
The second thing is to prove that I'm not making this up. I've been collecting little excerpts from our channel all day, and just this morning, Inkwelder came in and said, "Guys, I have a really important question. I don't know. I don't have an. What did he say? He said He says I could spend my 36 Power Stones to
Yes.
MLB Gladio right now,
Yes.
but that would cost me all of my Power Stones. Do I? Should I spend them? Or should I use my tickets to pull duplicates so I don't need to use Power Stones? By the way, I have 2,000 tickets. That is an exact quote from Inkwelder. Mark, how many tickets do you have right now?
500 or so.
Bullshit. You're full of shit. I know you're banking them on your goddamn...
Oh, I've got
summon.
like 15,000.
Yeah, 15,000. Exactly. And I throw tickets at every fucking banner I can until I get the LD, and I'm stuck at like 800 right now. Let's chat. Let's not fucking lie. I know you all watched poll videos yesterday. All the streams. I saw Lids. He was capped on fucking tickets. Chris had like 800 tickets. Zeno has like 800 tickets. The ticket problem. This is a real pandemic, guys, because we cannot get rid of tickets, and it's becoming a real goddamn problem. One ticket at a time. You're never gonna get rid of all these goddamn tickets. We get like 500 plus tickets a month. I feel like DFFOO is too generous. You average 200 tickets in LD on average, and I know all you asshole meta chasing sheep aren't pulling on every single banner a month. You're probably picking one or two, which means you're coming out with more tickets every month than you are spending. And I want to get to my 1.5 million gems and actually use those, right? But I just can't, because with the ticket barrier, you're just pulling everything you want before you can even touch gems. It's just a real epidemic. It's a real fucking problem. And I'm afraid DFFOO will go out of business if this continues.
No, I'm going to cut Mino off because
Alright.
I spend tickets like a mad person. And the only reason I even have any right now is because we just had a summon board. J.A and I are always using tickets. This is why we wind up with a lot of random gear. So I want to stress that if you're actually using these suckers on every banner, and I mean like you're using 100 plus on every banner you just happen to not have a gear for, you're going to run out. Don't worry. I think people hoard tickets too much in this game. Hi, Mino. So honestly, yeah. Don't hoard your tickets. Just use them.
2,000 tickets. Ink has 2,000 tickets. Mark said 1,500. Like I'm at like 800. I don't even have like 40% of what they have. It's ridiculous. But go ahead. Sorry, Arrow.
I think I'm done. I don't know how you guys sometimes have tickets. I honestly don't know.
I just I mean whatever, 2,000 is 2,000.
Yeah, 2,000 is absurd, BC. Whatever. Everyone should fucking email Ink and tell him he has a goddamn problem.
I mean, 2 million gems seems absurd to me, but people have that.
2 million gems.
Quite a few of our friends have 2 million gems. But yeah, you can. I mean, the only reason that I have so many gems is because I've been using gems, or so many tickets as I've been using gems. If I was only using tickets, I'd probably have more gems. I mean, spend your tickets until you don't have any tickets, and then use gems. That's probably at the end of the day the best thing to do, right? So, I don't know.
And I want to just say, to take a very serious note, because it's Thanksgiving and we're all going to be reflecting on what we're thankful for. I am thankful for DFFOO. I'm sure we all are. We're all here because this game is something special. And as anyone who's seen like the earning charts for it, DFFOO is always fighting FFRK for bottom earning Square Enix mobile game right now. The last game that was on the bottom of that list and cost the most to produce was Mobius, and that got cut pretty quick, right? Because Mobius was like a 3D action game with a lot of voiceovers and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it cost a lot to make. It wasn't earning money. FFRK is currently earning less money, but not by too much, than DFFOO, but it's probably a lot cheaper to make because they don't have voiceovers, and you know, sprite animation I imagine is easier than 3D effects. That's why we had like 2 years of EX animations that were exactly the same, and I'm sure, you know, right? And so DFFOO, I'm assuming, costs more to make, but isn't making that much more money than FFRK. And we all know the game is just so generous. I play so many other gachas. Mark, I know you play so many other gachas. Like the amount of free draws they give, DFFOO literally gives hundreds and hundreds of more times of free pulls than any other game. Would you agree to that?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and you know, I was talking to
With
Zeno.
guaranteed pity, which not
Right,
every
exactly. Like
Sure
I was
has.
talking to Zeno of TXP Gaming. If you guys want to send hate mail somewhere, and he was saying the ideal gacha game is you have enough to pity one character per month, so you're actually forced to make a decision, right? Like you're deciding on your roster. I'm really afraid that everyone, you guys need to spend more money. DFFOO needs to give less resources. We need to be at that point where you should save 3 months to pity one character, and that character should always cost all of your resources. And you know, we need to like write a petition or band together to make sure they hear our feedback and adjust the game as such. Kreese, do you have something to say this? I noticed that you you're trying to chime in.
Sorry, I've been letting you rant.
Go for it.
Nah, I'm gonna let you continue rant.
I'm done, Arrow.
I mean, I kind of said my piece about the tickets and all that. I like this game, and the reason why I even give it money is because it is generous. So honestly, I think if that were to change, a lot of people would actually quit the game, and that might actually pan out to be very bad. No, look, they made the Moogle Pass as cheap as they did, like the baby version, for a reason. Think about how many people probably subscribe to that every month. That's a lot of people, and that adds up. Them $5 here and there, and those $1 deals we got going on right now for Black Friday, all that stuff really does add up very fast, especially if thousands of players are doing it. And I honestly think this game has a larger player base right now than expected, because like I remember the game when a new event would drop would be very easy to pull for. I think they did a server upgrade, because I did not lag that bad for Gladio's event when it dropped yesterday. So something tells me they actually are not planning to drop this game anytime soon. And in fact, they're trying to make it so that when events drop, we don't lag like how we used to for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Actually, to counter that, sorry, Kreese, really quick, is I don't think they upgraded the servers. I think anybody, Black Cloud's in chat right now, right? Anyone familiar with live servers knows that they don't upgrade these servers lightly. It's not, there would be a big maintenance. It's not like they magically did it. It's just that Gladio is only hype for the hardcore players of this game, which is a small fraction of the players. If you notice, anytime the servers ever lagged in this game, it's been for protagonists like Noctis and Lightning, or global first like Aranea. I had
Story
a lot
chapters too.
that brought LDBTs, right?
Yeah.
Of protagonists. Because I had this discussion. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'm shocked. I thought Gladio would lag the servers more." Guys,
The story chapter for Arden was pretty bad.
and it's Arden.
Oh God, that
Not
Arden
fucking
was
Gladio.
bad.
Not a fucking side character of a game. It's a main protagonist or a main antagonist. Not a fucking random ass side character of a game. Like, let's be honest. Gladio is only hyped for people who watch like Should You Pull videos or are hardcore enough to go to the Discords and like live on the fucking subreddit. But for the average populace, this is a nobody. You know, like the fact that it lagged at all was like a good sign. But for example, like if you think back to the super hyped meta characters, Amina Telian didn't lag, Arciela didn't lag, Eldnarsh didn't lag, It's just the big protagonist antagonist. Let's not pretend the DFFOO
Gladio wasn't bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not pretend not only that our player base is huge, but let's also not pretend that they upgrade servers for these small things. Like FF14 is the same way, where or WoW as well. Like whenever their servers get overloaded on a new expansion drop, they're like, we're not upgrading our fucking servers. That's a temporary surge. Like we're not going to upgrade it to make things live easier for a week or two, because after the initial hype, like server traffic is going to go back to normal. Why the hell would we cost ourselves so much more money to upgrade the servers? Guys, the servers weren't magically upgraded. Gladio is just not that hyped to the average fucking person. Like I've gone to websites where they're like, hey, Lightning is in this game now. Like got their new weapon, and everyone's surging in or renewing their accounts or coming back to the game from a hiatus. Gladio is not going to fucking do that for the community.
Yeah, well, yeah, some people were lagging on Gladio, apparently. I found it fairly quick, at least when I was recording last night. All right, well, we've gone way longer than we were planning to, so thank you all for staying here with us. Thank you all for asking your questions. Of course, you can ask questions in our Discord. The links to that are here, and, well, the link may not be right, but you can join our Discord and find that in YouTube or on the podcast app, wherever you're going. We will have a video tomorrow. We'll send this out, obviously, today. We will have a video out tomorrow, a special video that will also be on the podcast. So check that out on YouTube and the podcast. We will broadcast Mino and Ink's stream on YouTube and on the podcast on Friday. So you'll have plenty of TCC to keep you busy over the weekend. Everybody have a great holiday, whether you're here in the United States. Hope you're staying safe wherever you are, or just around the globe. We are so thankful for everyone in this community, for Arrow, Crease, myself, and Mino. Thank you all, and we will see you next time around. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.